Hi everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. And today I'm having a conversation with one of my dear clients, Sarah. She is walking through an amazing transformation, so brave, so beautiful. She's 9 hours behind me in time zone. So thank God for Zoom. We can meet up together and share, she's going to share a little bit of her story with you, and we'll discuss a little bit together why we're actually doing this and believing in changing our lifestyles to find better health on all levels. So hi, Sarah. I'm so grateful for, you being here and getting up early in the morning and wanting to contribute by healing yourself. Let me start by just asking you how you found me, or how you found this path with me in it and choosing me to be your coach for this.
Yeah, so several years ago, in my quest of trying to find remedy to several lurking health issues, I had a friend who told me about Robert Morse, and she said she was eating all fruit. And at the time, I was reading Anthony Williams' book, Medical Medium, and he was talking about more fruit smoothies and juices. And so I kind of was interested, but I never really looked into Robert Morse. But that seed had been planted by that friend. And then almost 2 years later, I had a pretty scary medical diagnosis, and a health practitioner that I was visiting for a massage recommended I check out Robert Morse. And he said, you can take care of that, no problem. And I thought, what? What do you mean? And so the second person to mention the same name took me to Robert Morse's website and joined a Facebook group and started reading as much as I could on a raw, mostly fruit diet. And I thought it was pretty radical at the time, and but I was really eager and interested to feel better. And so I have been in the hospital several times with bowel obstructions and extreme gut-wrenching pain. And so I was getting an episode of that in October of 2017. And I thought, well, I'm in so much pain and I don't want to go back to the hospital, and I don't know what else to do. So I'm going to try. And I started doing all juices and smoothies. And October 2017 was when I began this raw, mostly fruit journey. And so that was the beginning. And it was exciting and hard and challenging and all those things. And I worked with a counselor for a little bit. And what I found was that those first, I guess I would say 6 months of starting, I had so many questions, and I really needed help. And, talking to a counselor once every 6 or 8 weeks was just not enough. And I really needed more support. And, I ended up in the hospital again 2 more times since, starting my raw journey. And I just felt like a little bit of a fish out of water. Like I need some experience from someone who has had lots of these ups and downs experiences, and someone I could learn from. And that's how it was like the seed planted of looking for that person that could help me. And I'm so lucky I found you because I really needed that ongoing support that your membership provides. And that's, I guess I saw one of your posts about the membership or about a monthly challenge or something. And I clicked on it and I read a little bit more about you. And so the first thing I did was I joined your membership group and was a part of that for several months. And then, of course, I started working directly with you. And so that's how I found you. And I'm so grateful.
Oh, thank you. And I remember this amazing, really spiritual and kind angel woman that was typically coming with a set of eyes, that I read, that had all these strong genes going on, so much stagnation within your body. And like we're going for women, again, the strong notion that you need to take care of everybody else first, that you need to that's, a lot of our story, isn't it? That
Yep.
You're still going on with your life, and then you reached out, and I was like, oh, thankful, because I knew that, you know, a lot of what we're holding on to is that part of our life. So what have you noticed since we started? Because I read your eyes, obviously, again, you know, and we set up a new herbal protocol and went a little bit through everything you have been doing up to that point, which of course was amazing. You've made so many changes, but you really hadn't gotten to where you wanted to be, or, you know, there was still some breakthroughs to be made. What do you think? What happened after that?
Yeah, I really think that the thing that I felt was, you know, either like lacking or missing in my kind of approach was, you know, I needed more of a emotional, spiritual plan, and, you know, how to work through, you know, I had heard that there's such thing as physical detox when you go off fruit, and then there's also emotional detox, that you start detoxing out and you might feel different emotions. But you were the one that really helped me to see some of the sort of childhood and like family patterns that I've had influencing who I am as a person. And a lot of those things have been quite detrimental, and they need to be worked through and discovered. And, you know, I get to choose how I want to live my life, and I get to set my boundaries. And so I feel like your program and approach and sharing with me to encourage me about kind of, you know, it's sort of like the diet is one thing, but you need to have several other things going at the same time to really heal as a whole individual.
Yeah, I so much agree. And what I think is interesting is that once you find the core, you know, of what we're actually holding on to or going through, then everything starts to change. And then it's the ongoing support, because a lot of people, they come to me, you know, and they have a lot of deep issues. You know, it could be called anything, diagnosis, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. The thing is, it's deep and it's been long standing, and we're strong, and we keep on walking, and we keep on walking. And even if you're kind of on your knees, you're going to go walk on your knees, you know, and keep on walking. So it's also about seeing the strength in you that has kept you going, not only before this, but also now through this, because you know about detox now. You know by experience that this is not an easy walk in the park.
No.
You know, it's not about killing some parasites and cleaning the colon or the intestines in a 30-day cleanse, or going on a 2-week juice cleanse. That's not what we're doing when we're looking for, you know, real deep healing. Do you have any thoughts about that, about your, you know, your expectations of what you've been experiencing? Because it's pretty deep what you've been experiencing. I know this.
It's true. And it's really helpful to, you know, talk about it and review this together, because one of the things that I think about is that in the first, I would say 2 to 3 months of me switching to a raw, mostly fruit diet, I noticed that my constipation was totally gone. And that's something I've had my entire life. I mean, 43 years of my life I've been constipated. It's like, yes. And so that was like huge, you know, and anybody who's experienced that knows how much better that feels. And, you know, about the 1.5 or 2 years before I started this, I was having headaches about 6 or 7 days a week, and they would be all day, all night. And those have almost completely vanished. I mean, I barely might get a headache here or there as part of detox, but then it goes away. And, you know, I had these mouth sores like inside my mouth, and I would have anywhere from 3 to 8 sores at a time, and they would last for like 2 weeks, and then I would get a whole new batch. Yeah. And I've had those since I was in high school, and that's a long time to have pain like that. And those are just gone. So to have so many, you know, things happen so quick, and, you know, to still be what I would say slogging through the symptoms of physical detox, which can be, you know, hard and tedious. I think more about how the journey since I've known you has been a much deeper, personal, spiritual uncovering of personal challenges and things that I'm not happy with in my life and things that I want to be different. And, you know, I can really feel the gratitude for what is coming up within me and the work that I'm doing and the time that I'm spending and the scariness of all the emotions. And, you know, there's so much fear that comes up around that. And that is, you know, I heard people talk about emotional detox, but now that I'm experiencing it, it's something that I'm so profoundly grateful for, because I know I'm turning into the person I really, truly am. And that feels good and hard. And I just try to make the space for both of those feelings, because it's okay to feel like this is hard work, and it's okay to feel, you know, really grateful that, wow, I am on this path and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I would never ever go back. This is perfect.
Isn't that freaking amazing to be able to sit and say something like that? You know, I know that you out there not listening, you don't know everything Sarah's been through, but I know. And I know the pain, and I know the suffering that's in an everyday struggle, you know, walking yourself through something like that. And that's what I feel is, you know, it's in my book, the first book, From Hell to Inspired, is how you get so lifted, or you feel so embodied in your own body, and you get so spiritually grateful that you would never change a thing, because you can see that the growth that comes from it, you know, the transformation. And we're not changing who we are. We're just becoming who we are. We're becoming more and more of who we really are. And so you found a lot of value, I think, in the membership group also, because like-minded people, like I said, nobody has to walk this path alone.
Exactly.
Never. I mean, that's where I'm coming from, because I had the second floor in my home. I didn't have family that supported me except for my husband, you know, God bless him, and smaller children. And there was nothing. There was nobody out there. There were no Facebook. Now it's even hard to remember, to imagine, you know, you know how lonely that felt. And people are rising from all over the world, not just getting together and saying, hey, I'm doing something good. I'm doing something good. And I want to thank you for being on board and healing the world with us, because I truly believe through healing ourselves, we're healing the world. I mean, happy people do happy things, and hurt people, they do hurtful things. So
I found that in the membership group, I just wanted to share that it's been so wonderful to get to, you know, hear other people's experiences and, you know, like go through this, like walking, you know, side by side with other people on this journey. And, you know, I've met people in the group who have crazy similar GI gut experiences to me. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness there's somebody else out there that's like me, because I don't know any friends or family that are going through this. And, you know, my family can't really relate to me. They don't really understand, because they're not experiencing what I am. And, you know, there's a woman who lives, you know, one town over from me that's in our group that's been so neat to connect with. And, you know, we share where we find fruit and this and that. And that I cannot say enough how valuable the membership group has been to me, because like you mentioned earlier, there have been some really hard days, and, you know, I feel pretty low and I feel pretty nauseous and queasy, and, you know, just having the group and knowing that you guys are all there and that I can get support if I need some emotional support. And it's invaluable. I don't know how you did it by yourself. I mean, I know you're very strong, but wow, like hard.
Yeah, it was never about easy, that's for sure. I'm just glad that my experience can, you know, spread some knowledge and awareness. So, Sarah, what would you think as a closing would be right if you want to inspire someone? Like, how can you express how your life has changed? If someone doesn't know if they how to start, where to start, if they should jump on trying to do something by themselves. You know, they feel like crap, they want to do something better. What do you feel like it's done for you? Like, how has your life changed, you know, in any way, from where you started to now? What did old Sarah look like, and what does she look like now? That'd be kind of a cool closing.
Yes.
For those watching.
Yep. You know, I think that old Sarah would be this, you know, woman who had a sort of like maybe a fake smile on her face, and hiding behind that would be either, you know, pain, suffering, whatever. And, you know, and sort of pleasing people. That's the old Sarah. And, you know, what I'm uncovering about myself is that, you know, I am discovering that I am really lovable just as I am, and that I don't have to do anything. I don't have to please anybody to be a lovable person. And that's really starting to come through. And when I feel that way, then I can support my clients in their journey, in their personal journey. And so it really feels night and day that from before I started to now, you know, who I am and who I'm becoming. And I just would encourage anybody out there, if they feel called towards this type of truth, which we know it is, this is an amazing community of like-minded people who will support and, you know, share and inspire. And, you know, you as our leader, we're just so fortunate and lucky to have you and to get to share in this journey with you and hear about your experiences. And you have such a wonderful quest for, you know, knowledge and your own life experience and sharing it with us. It's truly infectious. So I think you can only be successful if you join our community, because that's what you're all about.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And on the physical plane, like, what has happened on your physical, would you say?
Yeah, huge changes in my physical. So before I mentioned that I had a lot of constipation, and so that is like completely no problem. And to be transparent, before the constipation, when I was constipated, I would take magnesium, lots and lots and lots. I couldn't stand those big horse pills of magnesium pills. They were so big, you had to take tons of them. And then I took prescription laxatives from the doctor, and they didn't do anything. Nothing would get going. Then they said I had to take Miralax. So I was taking all of this stuff, and I could barely go to the bathroom, maybe once, a little bit every other day. And it's just night and day. I mean, the doctors were like, we don't know what to do with you. We don't know why you're so constipated. And so the headaches, they, you know, Advil, Tylenol, nothing touched it. Then I went to a neurologist, and I had MRIs, and I went through about 8 different medications from a neurologist for headaches and migraines. And let me tell you how scary those medications are, because side effects are death from some of the medications. Like, who wants to take that? I mean, I had an anxiety attack trying to take one pill, because I was like, am I going to die? Am I going to be the one that dies? And I worked with that neurologist for about 10 months. No improvement in the headaches whatsoever. All that money, all those toxins in my body. And then I switched to a raw, mostly fruit diet, and my headaches are almost gone in 2 months. I mean, that's huge for me. And suffering, when I think back about having 7 days a week of headaches, morning and night, I don't know how I made it, because I was in intractable pain. I was so scared. I remember talking to a friend on the phone, and I said, I'm just sobbing. My head hurts so bad. I can't think. I don't know how I can live. I don't know how to get through one more minute of this day. And, you know, I feel for people who have that kind of pain, because it is terrifying. You never know if it's going to ever end. And you don't want to go to the ER, because they're going to laugh at you. You have a headache. Come on.
Yeah.
So,
fantastic.
Yep. And the gut work, as you mentioned earlier, is that I got a lot of work in my gut. And but the best news is that most recently, before I started this, I would be in the hospital, admitted to the hospital anywhere from 2 to 4 times a year. And that would be for bowel obstructions, for the severe abdominal pain. And I have not been in the hospital since January of 2018. So it's been longer than a year, no hospital visits, which is huge. Huge. Yeah. So I keep working on it.
Yeah, you're going to keep on walking, and I am so proud. I'm so honored to walk alongside you for a little short period, you know, a little short section of your story. And thank you for speaking with me on this, Sarah. I really appreciate it. You know,
thank you for everything.
Thank you. And I'm just going to leave the link below to the membership if anyone want to check it out. And meet Sarah on the inside. Okay, so thank you so much. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.